What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, we got a little bit more than just a sneak peek of what Carlos Thomas Jr. is looking like, now about a month away from stepping on stage at the Texas Pro, where he's going to have to face not only Hunter Labrada, but Andrew Jack. So he did a guest posing this weekend at the Victor Martinez Legends Championships. And I got to be honest, I was very impressed with what I saw here from Carlos. I mean, the roundness that this guy has. I mean, look at the size of his legs from every angle, just how crazy round and full they are. His arms, just this stupid fullness that he's got. He's just got that crazy 3D look that really only seems to come with genetics, where his muscles look like inflated, like a basketball or something. It's insane, the roundness that this guy has. And I think clearly he's added size since the last time we saw him on stage when he earned his pro card at the 2021 NPC Nationals. He's ridiculously big here. And when he hits that most muscular pose, you can see striations in his chest. You can see striations, those cross striations in his quads, a lot of separation in the quads. Really just crazy physique that this guy has. I cannot wait to see him make his pro debut, especially after what we just saw in Chicago, and we're going to talk about that later on in the video. But Justin Shire won the Chicago Pro, which was his pro debut, which gets me excited for the possibility of Carlos Thomas Jr. winning his pro debut in Texas. But it's not going to be an easy task. And I think while we sit here and compliment how crazy Carlos looked, we got to keep in mind he's got to face Hunter Labrada and Andrew Jack. Not only are these guys not rookies, these are guys that have been to the Olympia and placed in the top 10. So I'll say again that the main thing that I'm really looking for from Carlos is improved conditioning. I thought his conditioning was good when he turned pro, but I felt like it could have been sharper. And what we're looking for at the Texas Pro, because we see how Hunter Labrada is looking, right? Hunter looks insane. He's peeled. He's got a Christmas tree. Looks really dry, really vascular, really hard. But Hunter's also competing in less than 2 weeks, so maybe it's an advantage. Maybe it's not, because Hunter has to peak twice. He has to peak for Tampa and Texas. Maybe that hurts his chances at Texas. Maybe it helps his chances, because I think so far, based on what we've seen from Hunter and now Carlos and Andrew, I think Hunter is the most conditioned of the three, but he's also stepping on stage sooner. So maybe it's a disadvantage, maybe it's an advantage. But overall, conditioning-wise, for a month out, I think Carlos, and again, we're not super close here, it's not the most HD video, but I think what we just saw from Andrew Jack, the condition that we see from Carlos is pretty on par with what we saw from Andrew. And I just got to say, man, can you imagine this guy, this physique, with this round, full, crazy muscle? If he comes in peeled to the bone in Texas, he's going to be a problem, dude. I mean, I'm very impressed. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Carlos Thomas Jr., I saw a lot of mixed comments on the last video. Do you think he's got a shot in Texas against Andrew Jack and Hunter Labrada? I got to say, if he comes in conditioned, I think he does. Now, next up in the news, let's talk about the Chicago Pro that just wrapped up. First and foremost, congratulations to Justin Shire, who won his pro debut here, beating, honestly, a really competitive lineup. Blessing was in this lineup, although he wasn't at his best. Patrick was in this lineup. These are two guys that have been to the Olympia. John De La Rosa, also an Olympian. Stanimal, who I think arguably Stanimal brought maybe the best physique, the best conditioning that he's ever brought to this show. So obviously in first place you had Justin Shire, in second place you had John De La Rosa, in third place you had Stanimal, in fourth Blessing Awodabu, in fifth Patrick Moore, and in sixth wound up being Iron Gall. So I'm going to try to include a lot of pictures in this video because I feel like the quality of the pictures is much better than the quality of the live stream footage. Like I said in the prejudging video, man, I feel like the lighting at that show was really weird, and it just wasn't doing the guys any favors, and it was, I don't know, the lighting I felt was weird. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the lighting here, but it was definitely different than what we typically see at these shows. It was just very strange. The guys looked very dark. So I will say, Justin Shire, I think, did deserve the win. I think that top three was really interchangeable. They moved each of the guys into the middle, went through every mandatory pose. They traded these guys in and out, and they compared them for like 10 minutes at the very end in that top three pose down. So it could have gone any which way, and I think Justin is certainly deserving here. Like I said in the prejudging video, I think his legs looked better than I anticipated. I think his upper body was fantastic. Crazy width. His lats look crazy from the front. V-taper's insane. pretty big arms. The only thing that I thought might cost him the victory here was when he turned around and hit the back shots against these guys. The back double bicep, the back lat spread, especially with Stanimal standing next to him, as peeled as Stan was, and the detail that he had from the back, I didn't see that same level of detail from Justin. And for that reason, I really didn't think he was going to win. So I was kind of surprised by that. But I do think he's deserving. Overall, he was more developed than Stan. I think I'd say I was most surprised that Stanimal was third instead of second. And I think this show is like a really good example of conditioning is not everything, because Stan does have some lagging body parts. I think his arms are big ones, specifically his biceps. And I don't know if that's kind of a genetic thing, the way that his peaks are shaped, but his front double biceps, his arms in that pose really just don't look great. And also in the back, in the back double bicep too. But I think his back and his glutes and his hamstrings were so peeled, it wasn't that big of a deal from the back. But I think that Stanimal was by far the most conditioned guy in this show. And honestly, the past 2 shows that he's done, I think he was by far the most conditioned guy in those 2 shows as well. And obviously he didn't win those either. But even though he took third here, I think we really got to take our hats off to Stan, because the fact that he was able to do these past 3 shows and not only maintain that conditioning between shows, but I think he got better for this show. I think he looked insane here. He's really a guy that we're getting used to seeing him show up and deliver every time he steps on stage. And just like what we saw here from Blessing and Patrick, that's something that you shouldn't take for granted, because we've seen Blessing show up ripped at a show before. That last Indie Pro that he did, he was pretty peeled. But when you talk about inconsistent conditioning, you can have that same peeled physique that we saw at the Indie Pro show up to this show. And honestly, I don't want to be disrespectful, but Blessing kind of looked like he was doing a guest posing here. His conditioning was pretty off. So when you have a guy like Stan that's able to do this over and over and over again, I think it's really worth emphasizing how impressive I think that is. And I've been very impressed with Stan over these past couple of weeks. And I think if he's able to make some improvements, put on some size, bring up those body parts like his arms, and then with that added size and with those improvements, he's able to do this same thing that he's doing with the conditioning, is just consistently bring it, because it seems like he's got the recipe figured out for his body. And I think he's going to be very, very dangerous in the future. And I don't want to overlook John De La Rosa here either. I think John looked really good, considering the fact that he's coming back from an injury and a pretty substantial amount of time off, and he's been around for a long time. I mean, this is not his first rodeo. He's been a pro for over a decade. This was not an easy comeback for him, and I thought overall he looked pretty much back to his normal self. I just thought he could have came in a little bit sharper. But overall, like I said in the prejudging video, I think he's very, very well distributed, very well proportioned. His whole physique is very equally filled out. He's a little bit shorter, and he's got like a smaller frame, but his frame is just filled out very, very evenly, very, very well. And I think that's the real strong point in his physique. He really doesn't have any weak spots. So let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below about the results of the 2023 Chicago Pro. Reading the comments on the prejudging video, it seemed like everybody had just a different idea of who was winning that top 3. So I'm curious to see what you guys think of this result. But again, I do think Justin Shire deserved the victory here. I don't think it was controversial. I don't think it was very surprising. I just think those top 3 were so close, it was really hard to tell. And then, I guess on top of that, how do you think he's going to fare at the Olympia now that he's qualified, he's going to the Olympia? Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, the latest physique update of Derek Lunsford doing some posing at what he says was 16 weeks out from the Olympia with Flex Lewis. So this is obviously a very interesting comparison to see, even though Flex is now, he's retired, he's not going to compete again. He's probably off of most of the stuff that he was on when he was competing, so he's significantly downsized. Derek, on the other hand, has gone in the opposite direction, and he's significantly upsized because he's growing into the open division. And the last time that we really got to see these two posing next to each other was when Derek was the guy that everybody was saying was going to take the title from Flex, and Derek was actually runner-up to Flex at the 2018 Mr. Olympia in 212. So for me, it was really interesting to see this comparison, just thinking back to that 2018 Olympia, how much smaller he was and how much bigger Flex was at that time, and how close their physiques were at that time. And then, like I said, how recently their physiques have kind of gone in opposite directions because Derek is growing into open, Flex is kind of downsizing into retirement. And to me, the takeaway from this video was that Derek looks massive, even with the context that Flex is retired. And I think it's worth considering the fact that at Derek's first Open Olympia ever, The fact that he was able to take second place at that Olympia with only really, if you guys remember, he only knew for maybe 6 months that he was going to do open instead of the 212. It was only after that Pittsburgh Pro guest posing that they made that decision that he was actually going to pursue open. So he only had maybe 6 months to grow into that Olympia to be an open guy. So now with this whole year in between, he sat out the Arnold Classic for this reason, to really focus on growing into that open class. You've really got to consider that it's a real possibility that he's going to be even more dangerous this year with double the time now. He's known for a full year that he's doing open at the Olympia compared to last year's 6 months or so. So now he can focus exclusively on that. And I think that's what we're seeing in the result of this physique here. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think there's a chance that Derek could win the 2023 Mr. Olympia? That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.